I cannot emphasize enough because we see this over and over again. People not costing things. It's easy to get carried away. It's easy to get excited and say this is going to be the coolest thing ever. But if you don't cost it right, and you're not making money. Then what's the point?
Welcome to the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast, where passion meets profit. If you've ever dreamed of turning your love for charcuterie, or food of any kind, into a thriving online business, well then you're in the right place. We're Andrea and Patty, the Grazing Biz Sisters. With over 60 years combined experience as a chef and digital marketer, we have walked in your shoes starting our own online businesses. We'll share all of our tips, advice, struggles, and best strategies to help you launch and grow your own online foodie business with ease. The Charcuterie Launch Lab is a space for all food creators and entrepreneurs just like you. Let's dive in and get your yummy business launched online, one board at a time. Hey, 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 hey! I always do
Hello.
three heys. It is the Charcuterie Sisters here, the Grazing Biz Sisters. We're back. Thank you for joining us back at the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast. How are you, sister? I see you got a haircut. Nice job.
I did. We're a little bit late getting on. Not that everybody else knows that, but we're a little bit late getting on because I had to get my hair cut, and it was raining in northern Arizona.
Yeah.
So,
and then you forgot to say that you came home and didn't like what she did, so she
yeah, and I had to fix it. Well, I did like it. It's just, she tried to style it because I said, I got to get on my podcast when I get home. Can you do something with it? And no offense, they do a great job. I wouldn't want to do that job, so I can't give them too much crap, but they never seem to do it quite right. So you get home and I had to redo it. So
they don't know about your weird shaped head. Well, the other
no,
reason
they don't. I do warn people that I've got a bazillion cowlicks all over my head. So I just try to use that to my advantage if I can, because I don't have thick hair like some people on this podcast. And so you got thicker hair than I do.
Yeah,
So
it's thick, and it's not thick at all anymore. Like I used to be. But the other reason we're running late is because you were trying to pick Cheetos out of your teeth.
I
And
was
you're eating
Cheetos
with a fork.
I was using the Cheetos. This is anybody who doesn't want to have orange fingers. This is what you do.
Yeah, it's on the video. You'll see that.
Now, those that can't see it, I've got a cheese puff on my fork.
Yeah, and I went through 5 minutes of what am I going to do with my hair? This looks like a helmet. And I was doing all kinds of. It's so fun. Anyway,
the challenges of a podcast is video form.
Well, hopefully most people are listening to us and not watching us on
Hopefully
video.
everybody's listening to us. Yeah.
Well, so this week we're going to talk about gifting your charcuterie for the holidays. And the reason, obviously, is we're coming up on holiday season. Yay!
Yay!
Holiday. And so what does that mean? Big money, because you have the ability to add more value to whatever your offers are and come up with some really cool ideas. So we're going to talk about just kind of planning for the holiday, ideas that you might want to come up with for different types of gifts. And some of it is not related necessarily to holidays, because you can gift for various different reasons. And, let's talk about wrapping those suckers up and giving them away as gifts, as opposed to, showing up at weddings with them and all of that. And when I say showing up, I mean like grazing board. So now we're just talking about, let's get ready to use these for gifts. And kind of how this came to be for me, I said to Andrew last week, I said, I'm working on this thing, and I'm going to show it to you here, that I want to, I don't know what I was combing through all, because I'm like Alibaba, Temu crazy. And or Timo, or however you say it. And
I don't think you're the only one on this planet who is.
Yeah.
I have to stay away from it because I could easily go on there and get rigged into,
everything.
The spinning wheel thing. And then, oh, now you save this much more. And I just keep going. I could keep going forever.
Well, for those of you who haven't actually tried it, if you're afraid of it, I mean, I wouldn't be. We did get scammed, but that's my husband's stupidity. But because he's like, you're not going to buy a big a box full of like a big, he goes on Temu, or however you say it, and says for $15 you can buy a big old thing that holds all your tools, like stand up, heavy duty thing. when he finally gets it, it's one screw. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, so
No, you get what you
I mean,
got
stupid.
talked into,
Yeah,
right?
that was dumb.
You stick to cheap clothes and,
Yeah,
packaging for charcuterie is a good spot. Just make sure you order them enough time. And right now, I do not see a big change in prices from the tariff thing. What I
no,
do see is them creating a situation where there are local warehouses. So they're only paying one big tariff or whatever the hell is going on with that. They're paying one big thing to get it into a warehouse rather than sending all these individual things from China to other, all the individual people. So they're creating local warehouses, which in the long run, I mean, if they want to compete with Amazon and whatnot, that's the way they should do it anyway. I mean, I don't think I care all that much because most of our products come from China in some
yeah.
form or another. So even if you order from Walmart or you order from an American company, those things are coming from
Amazon,
not
they're
from here. We're not making these things here. It
no,
just like that's not going to change. It's
no.
just not. So,
Well, the point I'm
anyway,
making is that don't be afraid to buy things
right.
on there. You are going to need to kind of vet it out, obviously, but
Sure.
I'm bringing it up because I saw these things, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the background off. My background's not in that bad of shape, but let me just remove it because it's hard to see. If you want to get on
Real.
YouTube, you'll be able to see this thing. But anyway, so what I did, and I brought the whole package in, but I bought these things. So this is like 11 inches. It's about 10.58 or whatever inches. They go by centimeters, but I'll look it up. And then it's about 4.5 inches maybe wide this way.
Yeah, it's
And
cool.
this is actually what they called it was like a tiramisu type container. And so it's basically a square plastic box that I had full to put together, by the way. And then it came with these little cute little things, right? Now, I did put the bow on because I wanted to kind of get a feel for what this was going to look like. You could put the bow this way, you could put the bow that way, but I just thought they were the cutest things. And how cool would it be if you put your charcuterie or anything really, whatever you're selling
Right.
inside of these?
Right.
Now they do sell these for cupcakes, and I'm going to mention that because of my little cupcake venture I'm going on. But you can have like little holes that you could put. They sell them to put your cupcakes in. So if you are a cupcake maker,
Mhm.
which I am in the process of learning, and I think I brought this up last podcast of piping flowers. I want to pipe flowers, and the reason I'm doing that is because I see all these people putting these edible flowers on their charcuterie, and I want to make a charcuterie board, a little one in this box. And then instead of using piped or, those flowers that no one's going to eat, honestly, anyway, I just don't see anyone eating or feeling like they could eat those edible flowers anyway. I just don't, I think they're for looks. But instead, why not pipe little mini flowered cupcakes to put in here for the color if you want to do that? So you can put it in with your charcuterie, which is my plan. I want to do that. And just for those of you who don't know, I actually don't have my cottage food license. I don't have it. And I'm working on, or my certificate or whatever you call it in Arizona here. But I just applied for it the other day because I want to sell these and see what happens.
Yeah.
Are you tired of guessing what to charge for your boards? Are you spending hours shopping and prepping only to wonder, did I even make money on this order? Hey, it's Grazing Biz sister Patty here, and I get it. Pricing your charcuterie boards, tables, cups, and carts shouldn't feel like throwing spaghetti against the wall. That's why sister Chef Andrea and I wrote Charcuterie Profit Secrets, the book that shows you exactly what to charge, what to buy, and how to finally run a profitable charcuterie business without burning out. No matter how long you've been in business, you'll learn our pricing secrets on how to buy smart, price confidently, and reduce waste while making real profits in your charcuterie business. Grab your copy at grazingbiz.com/profit secrets and turn your passion into a real paycheck.
Yeah.
Partly I'm doing it because I want to be able to show how I'm going to market them. Hopefully they will get marketed well and sell them and see what happens. Now, I guess the question, sister, is I was going kind of back and forth over what could I charge. So that's a great question for the holidays, because if I spend time piping pretty flowers and putting flowered cupcakes in here, little ones, and put 3 or 4 in, and then, I mean, that's added value to these things, right? So the reason you want to do gifts for something like this is that what you might charge only $10 or $15 for, you could now charge what? I mean, I told
You
my
could charge
husband,
you could charge 100 and
this little
150%
box,
versus versus the 70% that we normally suggest.
percent. I thought you meant
So
100.
yeah,
Okay.
you would charge 100 and 150%. So if your thing was, if you normally would charge $15 or whatever, then you would charge 30, I mean,
Right, that's what I was
as simple
thinking.
as that.
Yeah.
So because the value, number one, you have to obviously work on your costs with that, because
Yeah.
don't get all nutty. But using our calculator, it's really easy to do, and then you just change the percentage of
Right. And
what
then
you
you've
want
got
your
these
markup to be.
beautiful things that you can make. And I think stacking these up inside your fridge just while you're trying to get ready would be easy to do.
Yeah.
One of the things my husband brought up was if you were to get into a corporate office and they want to give their
Their
employees
employees.
gifts, right? I mean, but what you're doing here is, instead of these ugly boxes that people are just putting stuff in, is you're just adding this cost me, let's see, I bought 20 of these for $22. No, it's not counting the bow, but it did come with these little strings here, right? So it costs $1, basically. I want to say $1 for this. And then you add in whatever, $1 for this, just for added value, and you're going to charge more. So what we're going to do today is talk about thinking outside the box with these, and how can you make more money and then market these to people all around. So we're going to kind of go into that. And before we got on, we were talking about other things that you can stick with this stuff, that you could put it in baskets and things like that. So yeah, let's talk about that. So to get back on it, why do we want to make gifts? Why do we want to be like, we can put gifts right on our website, which I think is number one and easiest thing you can do, because you just have them pre-made and take a picture of it, stick it on your site. And now people are ordering, without having to call you for this stuff, right? And maybe so, but the value of doing that versus just, hey, here's my standard, I sell this stuff all the time, take what you have and put it in something a little fancier, right?
So I feel like people these days are always looking, as we keep saying, they're always looking for something different. And the most original stuff that you can you don't have to rack your brain over it either. Don't overthink things. Just do what you normally would do, only making it on a smaller version, and just do it once and make it look really super cool.
Special.
And they sell themselves. I mean, there's nothing to it. They sell themselves.
Right.
And so, as opposed to just handing off, like a little 2-person charcuterie board, you can upsell it and do something along that lines where people just pick it up and carry it away. I could see that being a huge thing.
Right. And so what kind of things, well, let's just talk about the different kind of things you could do to it to make it more valuable. So for somebody that wouldn't cost you a lot as adding things to it. So what kind of things would be something we could add to this to add value that wouldn't break the bank for us, that we could,
Yeah.
I mean, offhand, you mentioned candies, right? So
I mentioned candies. If you have a local candy shop that makes their own candy, I would say something along those lines, whether it be hard candy or chocolate candies or fanciful candies that they might have. Or if you don't have that, I live in a rural area, I don't really have that out here, I would go for the foil wrapped kind, which is like Fia Rocher, the hazelnut little,
right.
the little hazelnut candies. Those are my favorite candies. I just have to tell everybody that. Like, if I don't get a box of those for Christmas, there's going to be problems in my neighborhood. So, but
I was going to give you a charcuterie box for Christmas. This is where you're
you can fill it with fill it with cheese puffs, and then the chocolate. Anyways, but my point being, pick something that's, don't go out and, unless people really love it. I mean, maybe somebody wants Reese's in their thing because that's what somebody's favorite is. But I'm just saying, be creative, use it to your advantage. Also using the fruits of the season. Let's say there's figs are coming out right now. So, figs are a good one for the holidays when they get dried. They are wonderful. Dates, those types of seasonal fruits that you don't
Cranberries
necessarily,
would I don't know,
cranberries,
dried cranberries might be
yeah,
dried
dried
better.
cranberries, cranberries are everywhere. Obviously, you don't want to put, like fresh cranberries because they
They're
taste
not good.
terrible.
Yeah, they're not
So
good. They could be
unless they're
pretty.
cooked to death, unless you really want to knock yourself out and make some kind of, cranberry sauce to put in there and then put it in a little teeny jar that they sell on,
Right.
Amazon, Temu. They
What
sell the
about,
little
yeah, what
jars.
about like chocolate covered things like chocolate
Yeah.
dipped strawberries
I mean,
and
so my issue with, I love chocolate dipped strawberries. The
me
issue
too.
is they have a very short time frame that they can be sold.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Great idea. I see a lot of people doing that. Just keep in mind, and they're easy. They're really, really easy to do. But once you make them, you better get them out the door. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Don't settle.
or yeah, I mean, the problem is like we bought some on Friday, just strawberries in general, and they're sitting in the
Yeah.
fridge. And I was gone all weekend. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually a competitive singer, but that's a different story. But I was gone all weekend singing. And when I came back this morning, they're all like soggy
Yeah.
already. And this was just from Friday. And everybody loves strawberries, but then
Yeah.
depending on where you're getting them, they don't always taste so great. That's why dipping them is always a good idea.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
switch gears just a tad bit when it comes to berries. I love berries. And when I worked at the Phoenician, that's when I really, really learned how to deal with berries and how to, just generally deal with them because when they're fresh, we all know they have like, I don't know, a 12-hour freaking refrigerated shelf life. So you can't do anything to make them last longer. A lot of times it's just a matter of keeping them in their package. Here's the key. I know everybody feels like they need to bring everything home and run it under the sink. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that will take down a berry of any sort
Really
almost
fast.
immediately. And the same thing goes with grapes. So just leave it in their packaging until you're ready to use, ready to eat, ready to do something with it, and then clean it and then immediately move
Yeah,
forward.
and if you only make, you'll say you got a box of them and there's 20 in there, but you only need 5 for that order, then just take the 5 out and wash
Right,
those up, right? So
right.
then, yeah, that's what I
And
was
I
doing.
and I know everybody thinks this is weird, but you don't really clean like raspberries or you can clean blueberries, but you don't need to. They go through a process when they're when they get picked and they go through everything. They do go through a process. You should clean strawberries, but not raspberries and blackberries. They are way too fragile. Once you clean them, literally, guys, they're going to be gone. They're
Yeah,
going to be.
well,
They won't
little
even
dirt.
make it. They won't make it to, and they'll bleed all over your
Yeah,
whatever you put in there. I saw a post because, obviously we're always watching and we're all part of posts on Facebook for charcuterie groups and
yeah,
also cottage groups now, just so everyone knows we're moving in that direction as well. So cottage selling from home. But I see a lot of people talking about berries because it's berry season, but they don't know
yeah,
how to deal with it. So these are my little suggestions. Don't wash them until you're ready.
yeah.
Definitely don't put them in the packaging until they're ready to go out the door and be delivered. And, they are like eggs. They're fragile. They're super fragile. You
Right.
can't touch them and move them around too much because they get bruised. So that was my spiel
That was your
about
spiel
berries.
on berries. So other things you could add would be kind of sweet treats like cookies or
Hmm.
cupcakes, like I was mentioning, if you want to
Yeah.
make your
I
own
like
or just
the,
buy them, you
yeah,
know.
I like the mini cupcake idea
I'm
with
gonna show,
flour.
well, I sent Andrea a picture because this past week I piped my very first flower. And I
Hmm.
actually bought, because I thought it would be easier to buy, for those of you who haven't looked into this at all, there's this thing called these Russian piping,
Yeah, I
the
saw that and
piping.
I've never seen those before. So I
Yeah,
didn't
I'll
know
put a
quite know
picture
how they
in the
work.
YouTube version of this, but what's cool about it, Mar, is that they're already, gosh, I should go grab them. Okay, so what I bought, because I'm new at this, I was looking at all these videos. I've just been obsessed with watching them pipe flowers. I mean, beautiful flowers. So I'll put a picture of a nice one, and I'll put the one that I did, the very first one that I did. I realized you really have to have really solid, sturdy icing. And then I used, which was kind of stupid, but it was okay because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on butter when I knew I was just doing this to test it out. But I used royal icing, and royal icing is like the icing that's on cookies, basically, but it's stiffer. And then it just turned into like a little rock. So my husband will eat anything. He was eating, and he goes, "Oh, it's just like eating little sweet tarts on top." But anyway, so I piped. So what these are, to me, these are cheaters. And for those of you who can't see, you got to go to YouTube to look what I'm talking about. But these are basically Russian piping heads. So if you look at them, you just you put them in the
Yeah.
piping bag. And when they come out, I'll show a picture in the YouTube video of these, but they are absolutely gorgeous. And you just smash it down and come back up, and then it makes a flower. Instantly it makes a flower, and it's so stinking cool, and I'm just obsessed with it. And then there's this little teeny needle one that will turn it that actually makes the leaves, so it pumps out and then it makes these beautiful leaves. So I'll show you, there's different sizes but and different types. And really what I want to do, because I'm in Arizona, I'm just dropping stuff all over the place, they sell versions that you can do succulents and
Yeah, see, I think that would be
and
super.
I know.
I think that I was just actually going to say something about making the cupcakes with succulents on them, because that's just such a cool thing right now and everybody's into it.
So
I
pretty.
think that would be
Right.
massive.
So that's to adding value to your gift. So
Mhm.
let's see what other kind of things we're talking. Oh, you might want to put like little, if you're going to make a basket or something, it's got a little bit more space, you could make a basket that is a charcuterie goodie basket, I guess, and you could throw in like some cups that have charcuterie in them, right? But then you could also throw in other things like actual charcuterie boards, little mini ones, or
Mhm.
you can make the little mini ones like you did, where you
Mhm.
have like a basket full of little mini ones.
Yeah, I
That
put
would
them
be
away, but
fun.
yeah, they sell them on. I bought my little mini boards, which are only like they're not even 5x7s. I don't know what they are, but I don't have them right here. I thought I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, those could be really cool, and you can just stick those like even just in the back. So, it would come with the boards in the back.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, what did those little boards cost
oh
you?
my gosh, nothing. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, 25 cents a
Yeah.
piece, because you buy like a big stack of them. So maybe there was like 30 in there. I can't remember, but I know I didn't pay much. And
Right.
I just know that there's a lot you can do with those. Now, if you got real creative and you have a Cricut and all that stuff, you can print things out and, put them on there and
Random.
put little sayings or whatever on there. That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
way
Yeah.
of doing it. Just let your mind go, and you'll be surprised with what you come up with. We're just giving you ideas, but
Yeah. And what about like cheese knives and cheese
exactly, cheese knife.
forks, little
Hmm.
tongs,
Hmm.
it's
And
stir
then we were
sticks. I
right.
mean,
We were just talking about wine because somebody in one of the groups said, "What do you think about putting wine in these gift things?"
yeah,
Well, here's the thing: you're not supposed to put wine,
you're not,
no alcohol. Don't get yourselves in trouble,
yeah.
okay?
You have to be
But what you
licensed to
can
sell
do,
alcohol.
yeah, don't do that
I
unless
wouldn't
you're
do it.
giving it to like friends and it's free, but um if you want to sell this thing, there is other ways of getting around that with it. Still really cool. You could put a couple of wine glasses in there, whatever, champagne glasses, and add some sparkling wine. There are great sparkling wines out there, guys. Lots of non-alcoholic wines, that some very, very expensive and some very cheap, like down to the Martinellis and the Concords, So those are delicious and they look great in the
Right.
basket. And they sell them as like the mini little bottles. So
Oh,
you could
yeah.
do that too.
I was doing some research on this before we got on here. I saw something called champagne gummies. And I don't know what those are, but I'm
Mm,
assuming they taste like champagne. Maybe they got a little
maybe they
bubbly in them, or they
maybe they
taste
do.
kind of like bubbly and they're a little, you know,
Or they're just
um,
shaped like champagne glasses or champagne bottles. That could be, and they taste a little bit champagne-y. I don't
yeah,
know how
maybe.
they would
Yeah.
do
I don't
that,
know.
but
I'll have to look that up because that sounded kind of
gummy
interesting.
bears, got all those cute little gummy things. I don't know if they still have Cost Plus. They do here, World World
Oh
Market
yeah,
or
World
whatever it's called.
Market. Yeah.
Lots of cool imported stuff there. But again, I cannot emphasize enough because we see this over and over again, people not costing things. It's easy
Oh
to
yeah.
get carried away. It's easy to get excited and say this is going to be the coolest thing ever. But if you don't cost it right and you're not making money, then what's the
Yeah,
point?
what's the point? Well,
Yeah.
just make sure you're charging the right amount for whatever
Right.
you're putting in it. You can make them as fancy as you want,
Hmm.
spend whatever you want for the, for the ingredients and everything you're putting in there, but just, or, then make sure you're charging 100,
Yeah.
150% or whatever it is to make them or whatever
Yeah.
you want. Honestly, I feel like you should just price them on what you can get away with. And if you think about all of the crap that we get during the holidays, and then you look at it and go, what am I going to do with this? And now
Hmm.
you're thinking about what can I give for the holiday, and people are looking for ideas. All you got to do is start posting, and we'll talk about social posting on these things, because as soon as they look different than everything else out there, I just
Right.
honestly feel people are going to be all over it.
Hmm.
So let's talk about things that aren't necessarily in a box per se, but you could gift big big boards, obviously, and wrapping those to make them look more holiday-like, right?
Hmm.
Thanksgiving's coming up. We have Hanukkah. We have obviously Christmas. Thanks. I don't know if you give gifts for housewarming gifts when you're going to people's houses for parties.
Yeah.
I think like if you go to somebody's Halloween party and you walk in with something that's Halloween all decorated up, how fun would that be, right?
Hmm.
So, of course, Labor Day's coming up, but if you can get it together between now and then, awesome. So obviously nuts and mixed things like that. I'm trying to think of all the stuff that you could do to upsell these things. It just add value without costing a lot. That's kind of what we're looking at. How do you do
Yeah,
this?
like I said, the fruits of the season, whatever those are going to be, and dried fruits are everywhere all the
Yeah,
time. Those should be going on your board
yeah,
regularly anyways, apricots and mangoes and whatever else you
whatever you
might
can
be able to
get.
find that you can do in bulk and get a good price on.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Sprouts has a huge selection of bulk items. It's not necessarily the cheapest, but you can go in there and let's just say buy a quarter cup of dried apricots if that's all you need for that
Oh
week.
yeah, good call.
So you don't need to go buy the big old $10 bag
It's a
at
really good idea. I
you,
hadn't thought
you
of that.
know, I
Yeah.
have done that in the past when I have slower weeks and somebody orders something that's specific and maybe a little more expensive. I have to take a hit on that slightly, but at the end of the day, you want to keep your customers happy. And this is something that is on your menu, so you need to offer it. So maybe I take a little hit, but I'm still making money, but I only go buy what I need of the nuts and bolts of filling in that
That's a
tray.
really good idea.
You
Yeah.
can do that at Sprouts. And if you have a Winco near you, we do not have one, and I don't have one here.
Yeah.
Patty's is way
No,
down in Chandler,
yeah, and there's
but
one where my son is at on the west side of town. But
Winco is a killer. I mean,
yeah.
it their whole bulk section is amazing.
Oh,
So I don't know if you'll ever get one in Scottsdale because you guys are all snooty there. You don't allow dollar stores. Well, now there is a dollar store,
yeah, we got a
but
few now.
yeah, you got a few, but in the beginning they wouldn't allow him in Scottsdale because it's Scottsdale.
Yeah.
But up here we don't have Wincos. Everybody's begging and pleading those guys to come up here. We're getting an Aldi. We're excited about that up
Yay,
here.
that is exciting. Well, then
But
Aldi's got a lot of weird stuff. Go down that
yeah,
aisle of
they do.
shame. Who knows what you'll find?
You got that right.
The individual like cones. So that's another thing. You could make a cone board and and just put all the cones in there, and then you've seen those boards where they have like put the cone in there so it sits
Yeah,
up
yeah.
straight. So you could bring that maybe as a gift, or give it as a gift. You can maybe
Hmm.
make your own board if you wanted to really get into it and do that. The other thing I'm thinking is when one time at this time of year, you're going to start seeing the cornucopias made of bread. You've
Yeah.
seen those where you make a shape, like they probably sell a thing on Temu for this, but you make a shape out of aluminum foil. And the easiest thing I've seen is people just go and buy the pre-made bread or the croissant dough and
Oh
wrap
yeah.
it around these things. So you can make like little cornucopias full of, and you bake them like that. So you shape it in a cone, So it looks like this, and you wrap it around it, and then you bake it, and now you've got this cornucopia you can load up with
That's
stuff.
interesting. I actually never
You haven't
have
saw
seen
that? Oh
that.
my God, I was all over that last year. I was
That's
like,
pretty
I'm gonna make
cool.
one of those. That looks
That's a great
fun.
idea. That's
Yeah,
a great
and
idea.
you could put it right on a tray and load it up full of stuff. But just keep in mind, like you said, I mean, it's probably going to get soggy pretty fast. So I probably wouldn't make those, and maybe you can freeze them, but be careful because I'm sure they'll dry out pretty quickly. So, but I do like all the fall themed ideas that you can do. There's so many things you could do, and the dipped pretzel sticks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or the things of honey, those tubes of honey things or whatever they're called, the honey sticks or whatever. So whatever you want to do to add to that, to add value. So let's talk about packaging then. What kind of different packages are we talking? Besides this, what else could we do to make it look more expensive than what's really going on here? I mean, nobody's going to know I spent $1 on this because by the time
Right.
it's all said and done, and by the time I think when I'm done with this, if it costs me $3, I think I could do this for three to $5 to put whatever I need to put in here. That's me. But
Yeah.
and then so you add the dollar on for the container, and then I sell it for 30 or something. And I mean, I suppose you could really get fancy and throw in some money if you wanted to do that.
Yeah. I would say, well, so
Or lottery tickets. How about lottery tickets?
yeah, I mean, you could go on forever with that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to packaging, you want to have the practical stuff. If you're doing a ton of them, cups are always great. You can do cups,
How do you
but then
wrap those so
wrap
they
them in
look?
cellophane,
Yeah.
put them in the cellophane sort of candy, you just drop it in there and that would be your gift and tie it up with a nice bow.
Cellophane
Of course, the
bags.
boxes that you were talking about earlier, the boxes that have the clear window on the top, those are always a pretty easy go-to, and those should really be on your menu anyway, so you could have the cups and then you would have the individual boxes. Now, I'm going to circle back just a tad, only because I just remembered something that Sarah and I did. My daughter Sarah and I did this thing where we went to the beach and we wanted to bring snacks with us. So we did the snackle box because at that time that was just a huge thing.
Oh
So the
yeah.
snackle box, which you can actually buy these little boxes that are got the individual little containers inside of them, and you just fill that. It's like an upscale Lunchable, if you will. So
Yeah.
you fill those up, all those little things, and you can buy those. Well, of course, it's the $1.25 store now, not the dollar store, but we had bought them at Dollar Tree, at Family Dollar, and you could buy again. You can go on Family Tree or Family, what is not
Yeah,
Family
Dollar
Dollar, but
General.
Dollar Tree, dollartree.com. You can buy everything by the caseload there and have it delivered to your local Dollar Tree. So that's just something for everybody to know as far as logistics go. But you could do a bunch of little snackle boxes and sell them off to businesses who want to give them away as gifts for their
Do you get a discount
employees.
then if you buy them in a
No, you
pack?
don't.
Oh, you still pay
No,
a
you
dollar
don't.
25 or whatever.
No, but you know how it is when you go to the Dollar Tree and it's a crapshoot if they're even going to have one, let alone 20 of them.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
this is just one way to guarantee if that was going to be one of your products that you could sell. The snackle, the little, I don't even know what they're called. They're just little
I know what you're
boxes.
talking about.
I
Yeah.
know, but I can't, there's a name for them,
Yeah.
But anyways, if you go on there and you buy those, then you have them and they can just be part of your product list. And those are something that people can put in a picnic basket. And that's what we did. We took them to the beach and we put them in the cooler and they
Yeah.
stayed healthy all day long.
Well, there's an idea. You get a picnic basket, you give that as part of the gift, and
Right.
then you can put in your Martinelli wine or whatever
Your
it's called.
Martinelli wines. It's
Is it
Martinelli.
Martinelli? Is that
So
what
hold
it
on,
is?
it is Martinelli. Martinelli people are out there listening. Listen to me. I'm plugging you. Martinelli's is actually delicious. And as a former food and beverage director feeding thousands of people, it was my go-to for those non-alcoholic drinkers when you had to do a toast and you had a wedding of a bunch of people, 100 people or whatever, and there's inevitably going to be people in there that don't drink alcohol, I should say.
Right.
So Martinelli's is a great choice, and it comes in all the different flavors. And then now I'm realizing as I went online to look for
Non-alcoholic.
non-alcoholic options. So Martinelli's sells those bottles very small, like the airplane size. So you could do that. There's also Concord, Welch's. Everybody does a little bit of sparkling. And then there's the fancy brands. Like there's some fancy ones out there. Here's one that's called Shirley Non-Alcoholic Sparkling for $25. So point is you can add those things. Please do not put, unless
Real
you're part of
alcohol
a
in there.
business in a
Just use it.
restaurant and a bar,
Right.
do not put alcohol in your baskets. You'll get yourself in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you think about you could come up with a bunch of themes, which we're going to talk about here in a bit, is all the different types of, ways you can promote these things. But if you have a theme, you can go out and buy things to go with that, a theme type basket that you want to give or whatever it is you're doing. So wrapping it. So back to the wrapping though. So we're going to wrap the different kind of things. It could be any kind of baskets, any kind
Yeah.
of boxes, any kind of like you can get online and buy like popcorn boxes that look like popcorn boxes and put them in that, if you want to do that. Come up with just the various different things. Now about wrapping big boards, I've seen people buy pre-made cellophane bags for certain size boards that
Sure.
I just think are amazing. And you just slip them all in there and then tie them up with pretty bows or whatever you want to put on top of them. Obviously
The
ribbons.
the other thing that you can do is if you're doing not maybe a huge board, but I think you can do a huge board, but you have to be careful with this situation. So you can wrap everything up in cellophane and what I call like catering wrap, make sure it's all nice and clear. Put all the bunched part, the part that you don't want to see necessarily on the bottom of your board. And I own what is called like a heat thing, and it's meant for drying things. It's meant for there's also it's like a heat gun. It's like a hair dryer, only it's meant for crafts. And so it produces a little bit higher heat. So what you do is once you get everything in place and it's sitting there and you get it wrapped up good and to the point where you can kind of get underneath it and you just quickly run your heat thing underneath it and it makes the plastic stick together so it doesn't come apart. And it will you can run it real quick on the top.
You don't want to
because
melt
you don't want to melt anything,
right.
But you can do it real quick. And what it does is shrink wrap to the food.
Oh yeah, we should track that down
and get it
put
in
a link in the notes.
Yeah, and then get a cooler in there, and then get it in the cooler right away so that it can stay cool. So you can do that really quick. And that's kind of a cool professional way. In commercial kitchens, we have this heat sealer thing that you would run the thing on top of. But if you're home and you don't have a lot of money, those things are kind of expensive. So anyways, food for thought. That's
some of the other things for serving that you could give for gifts that people would use that they sell the pre-built charcuterie board trays with drawers in them with knives in them. So you could buy one of those and give it as a gift. And just that would be a major upsell because you'd have to go out and buy, but you could offer those as an option. And another thing that we recently, actually, I play golf and I was back in Chicago. My friend goes, "Hey, have you seen these?" And they were calling them golf cart charcuterie or something like that. But all they were cup holders that had a little tray on the side of them. So you stick it in your cup holder and then it's got a hole in the middle of it so you can actually stick your drink inside that hole, but and then it has this tray on the outside edge of it that kind of sits off the side of it. So it sits off the side if anybody's looking at holding a thing, and it sits off the side and it's a little tray. And so you could actually give somebody something like that where now they could take it with them and use it later for golfing or anything in the car, actually, because you can put them in the car and use it for your food. I actually got online and saw these that are just built for the car and they actually handle your fast food. But then I was looking at it going, oh, you could totally make a little charcuterie tray on that and give that as a gift, which I thought was a really great idea, which was also on my hit list because I love playing golf. And I was going to go, and there's like a zillion golf courses around here. And I was thinking, I'm just going to go down there and see if I could promote these. And if someone's interested and they knew they were having a big tournament, this would be an awesome cart gift. If you ever play golf and go in a tournament, they're always giving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be just sitting in their cart. Of course, not in Arizona in the middle of summer, but and then it would have a little charcuterie tray in it, and just the coolest idea ever. And so I'll see if I can track those down. I'll probably forget about this, and then you'd be going in the notes going, she said she was going to give a link. I get that all the time.
Yeah, I know.
There's no
What
link
happened to
here.
that?
And then I have to
I
go
know.
back and go, oh, right. That's right. I forgot.
Well,
So
anyways, the point is there's a bazillion ideas you can go with this. Just get online and start zooming through either Temu, Amazon, Alibaba,
right.
Oriental Trading, any
To
of those
get
places will
them.
give you good ideas of what, if you have a vision, make it happen.
You can do it. Yeah. Mason jars full of dried
Mason
fruits,
jars.
nuts,
Yeah,
crackers,
mason
whatever.
jars. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the pretzels and then yeah, you
Yeah.
could go on and on forever on that
So
one.
many ideas. All right. So let's talk about some themed gift ideas, and then we'll wrap this up. But I think the key is, and then we'll talk about marketing this stuff. So themed gift ideas, this is going to be easy. They're kind of going to go together, actually, the marketing of it all, because it's really
Yeah.
going to obviously depend. What I would do for sure is have something for all the things that happen throughout the year. So, and what I mean by that is like, don't plan for Memorial Day in December. But what I'm saying is, you might want to offer gifts for anniversary gifts, for baby showers, for housewarming gifts. If you're in the real estate world, or even, yeah, housewarming gifts to somebody who just moved in, right? If you're in the real estate world, house closing gifts, which I keep talking about forever because I just think that was just a built-in audience for yourself.
Mhm.
Corporate gift boxes and things like that you can be ready. And I'm hoping to be able to get in and sell some of these things, who knows, to some corporate offices and those kind of things. Christmas tree boards for the holidays, right? So any kind of holiday themed board that you can come up
Mhm.
with, anything related to any
I'm
holiday.
already I'm already seeing a lot of those within the groups right now, people
Yeah,
coming up with ideas and maybe sharing what they did last year. They're not making them, but they're sharing them, and
starting to
people
think
are
about it.
just so creative. And so if you're kind of flustered or don't have that same creativity, it's okay to steal it from other people. It's
Oh,
okay. That's
absolutely.
what we all do. So use it, and then all of a sudden you'll be surprised at how your creativity flows from that.
It's interesting. And what I do, and for those of you who don't know, but you can save posts and reels. So if you're on Facebook, or at least I don't use TikTok like my sister does, but
But you can save
you
there
can
too.
save
Yeah.
them. So what you want to do is you want to click on, if you're on Facebook, or I guess, or even IG, but on Facebook, I know because I'm on there more often, is that there's little three, and any kind of post that you see is a good idea. There's three little dots at the top, on the post itself. So it's what they call the hamburger, I think, or something like that. But anyway, there's like three little dots on a post. So if you look, I'm just pulling one up so I can kind of, it's in this case right now, it's next to the name of the page, right? And you could click on those three little dots, and then it says save post. And then when you hit save post, you can actually create collections for yourself. So
Mhm.
I've got collections for all kinds of things. So now I've got the new cake decor collection. So I put things in there, Asian recipes, because I love my Asian food. But anyway, so I have one that's just called Grazing Biz, right? So
Mhm.
those are ideas for you want to keep so you don't forget. And then assuming they don't take those posts down. Now, there's nothing stopping you from just taking a screenshot of your phone too. But
Sure.
I have a problem with that because I end up like my pictures are all over the place. So I'm not very organized on my phone. But that's the way that you can start saving these ideas for sure. So other ideas, birthday mini box. So come up with something that you offer. So what's cool about all this is that you should have these things pre-made when you make them for the first time. Take a picture, and then you're going to add that as now one of your products on your website. And if you need a
Yeah.
website, you guys please ask us. Oh my God, I don't want to go on because I have to. Yesterday, I'm in a cottage. No, I was in another charcuterie group, and somebody said, "Hey, I need some inspiration for my website." So all these people are posting links to their site. So I'm on my phone in the middle of the night and I'm clicking on these websites. And this gal was so proud of her website. And then I clicked on it and the images are all distorted. And so please, you guys,
Mhm.
you got to realize if you're making a website or these people are giving you websites, they're free or wherever you're getting these cheap ass sites. I'm not going to lie. Most of them are from the cheap companies that are just, get a site for $5 for flat rate and then pay us a
Mhm.
dollar a month or whatever it is. You're going to get what you pay for. But anyway, I can say that all day long. Anyway, point is that now I'm clicking on it from my phone, which is where 90% of people are going to be doing it. And the image is distorted as hell.
Yeah.
And you can't even see it, and the words aren't even readable. And
Yeah.
I just don't think she realized. She did say she knew about it, which was great. I'm glad she knew about it, because I sent her a private note, and she may even be listening. I just am worried, and I'm just saying this because she was one of many that I've seen, many, many,
Yeah.
many. Because I'm doing my job at trying to discover what everybody's websites look like so we can make them better. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's challenges with so many of them, the way that they look. And I don't think people are realizing that they might look great on desktop, but mobile, they're not good. So make sure that your picture, and this is just the side note, it's not related necessarily to everything, but you are taking pictures, that your pictures that you take, when you put them on your website, you have to understand that if the pixel size of that picture is 100 square, 100 by 100 square pixel, px, and then you try to take it and put it on your site into a space where it really requires it to be 800 by 800, but you're stretching it out and it's all blurry. That's why, because your picture is too small to be that big.
Mhm.
And loading speeds and all of that is a whole nother discussion, because then if people come to your site and the pictures aren't loading, there's something else going on, right? So you just got to be careful. If you're going to take pictures, make sure that you've got them optimized well. And ideally, what we do is we just go into, I'll try to take a picture and go into Canva and have it resized in Canva by
Mhm.
just picking out, the size that I want to make. And I think in general, if you're just going to do a square one, safely try to make it at least 500 by 500 if you're going to do a square one. But then there's that problem where people are trying to smash a rectangular image into a circle, right? And because our templates that we're getting from these cheap companies are don't give you an option to put anything else in those spaces. So if you really want to promote yourself well, you don't want your site and all the stuff you put, all these gorgeous pictures you've taken, to look bad, because
Yeah.
people are going to think, that's just kind of, a shoddy job here. So they're probably going to do a shoddy job for my
Yeah. They're going to
looks.
consider you not necessarily being serious.
Serious, right?
And and we know that you're not. We know that you are very serious.
Yeah, you just
It's
don't
just,
know.
it's a reflection on you. And so
Yeah,
it's very important that your website comes across as professional and
yeah,
as much a part of you as your boards look. So
yes,
it needs to reflect your personality.
right.
Um, so just keep that in mind,
Do
everybody.
your best, right?
Yeah, do your best and don't. It's easy to say that you can be cheap about it because you can. There's many, many places out there. You can literally, I just switched over a website recently and, I went into GoDaddy, which is our go-to just because it's
Not for the
inexpensive to buy.
website, for the
Yeah,
domain.
not for the website, but GoDaddy
Don't
does
do
offer you
GoDaddy
the website.
website. Oh my
And
God,
we
they're
were
the worst.
struggling to try and get that thing out of there this morning
Eh,
because it automatically created the website and it was just a mess. But anyways, we
That's
got through it all. But the reality is what you get with those ones is just going to be,
preset
it's not going
templates,
to
I
be
think.
what you want.
Yeah.
And we already know that. We're not just telling you that because,
Yeah.
We know this. That's
You're
why
not
we're here.
gonna, they're not
Yeah.
very user friendly either, and
No,
they don't
no,
give you a
no.
lot of ability to adjust what you're doing. But anyway, we're getting off track. But
Yeah, we're
so
totally off
let's go
track. I don't
back.
even remember what we were talking about,
Well, I
but
was talking about putting images on your site, but other things that you can do. So another thing, so we got birthday mini boxes, some sort of
yeah.
theme, come up with themes, anniversary celebration boards, where it's kind of more related to, romance or Valentine, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Baby shower grazing boxes, so you can gift those if you're going to go to a baby shower or something. Obviously,
Mhm.
housewarming gifts we talked about, and Thanksgiving, all of the holidays that are coming up here in the fall now. So we have so many of them. They could be everything from Veterans Day to, obviously Christmas and
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. I'm not exactly
Canadian Thanksgiving.
all
We
of the
have
Canadian
all the
holidays, right?
plethora of Jewish holidays coming up. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it goes
yeah.
on and on and on.
So
So,
all of those
so check
holidays
your
coming up.
calendar.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And what I think you really need to plan to do is like make sure that you've got, and once you get these on your website, And they're just simple little like self-contained type things, ideally to make your life easier, that you just have the things ready. And ideal, to be honest with you, this is Temu where I'm at in Phoenix area. We got this in 2.5, 3 days, I think. My husband ordered them, and but you do want to make sure that you have some on hand if you're going to start promoting them, ideally, because you never know what there might be a lot of people getting them, and now you got to go get them. But that's okay but when you put them on your site, you just have to be sure if they're a gift that is not like a holiday is coming up. Like, I would start marketing 5 to 6 weeks out at minimum for major holidays coming up. But if you have you have them set up on your site already for baby showers and bridal showers and what are those parties when the girls get together before they get married? Oh, I'm having a brain fart on it. Bachelorette parties, right?
Bachelorette party, yeah.
Those would be a really great idea too, to give to your bachelorette people, or to your people that are your bachelorettes for the party, right? They would be great gifts for your people, and put a little piece of jewelry in there. But whatever you're going to have for those kind of things, these are permanently on your site all year long. And so people can just come there, and you could have a drop down on your website menu that says gifts, gifting ideas. And they can go there and see all these pre-made with images, and now they're ordering online automatically. And what you do is you just make sure that when they're ordering, they can't order within a certain time frame. And you should be able to block this on your calendar so that you're not worrying that someone's going to order a wedding one for tomorrow and you're not prepared because you don't have any of this stuff, right? You block out a window of time, which we've talked about before. If you're able to set this up, and we do, obviously, have a calendar that you put a window that you cannot order unless it's within a certain time frame for you, 3 or 5 days or whatever it is that you're comfortable with. And then they just need to order in advance if they need a bunch of them. If they only need one, that's fine. And then how you're going to deliver, let's talk about that. I mean, if you're doing this from wherever you're doing it from, in our house, in our world, we can do it from homes, but we have to, in this case, we can, as long as we put labels and all that stuff on it, because we're in Arizona, we can do that. But in your world, you may have requirements the same way to put labels on what's included in these things. So make sure that you're following whatever your local laws and rules are for you to be able to sell this stuff, whatever is required. But how would you deliver these? Or maybe you say, I'm going to be at this one location and I'm here every week. Let's talk about that, because you were actually doing this with your food, prepared food stuff. And let's talk about how you were going to manage that.
So the way I handle that with the prepared food or the meal prep business is that everything gets delivered. The orders have to come in on Friday, the week. Right. They come in, they have to be ordered by Friday. I spend the week dealing with what I need to deal with amongst all the other things that I'm doing. And then my delivery day for meal prep is on Thursdays. And I say specifically Thursday afternoon. And I only take a certain number of those because I've got so much going on that I can only do so much. But with that said, so in that case, I have everything is cooled down, just like your charcuterie boxes, your gift boxes, your trays, whatever. You want to get yourself some decent coolers to transport. If you don't have to go very far, just get them in a cooler anyway, just because you don't want to deliver things at room temperature. But they sell the greatest soft-sided commercial restaurant kind of coolers that you can just put in your car and have them in there and drop everything in, and they have handles and they're very sturdy. And we have them in our different catering lists. I'm not sure if we still have those up wherever we've got them, but the catering list, the catering list has the types that I would suggest. So those are things that you should just have at least 1 or 2 of them so that you can transport your things, that fit. So you have to make sure that your boards and things that you're trying to sell are all going to fit in these containers. But that's the best way to do it. And then I have also suggestions for cooler packs and things like that. You want to deliver those things cold, because people are going to notice if they're not as cold as they should be when you deliver.
Right. And I think another part about that, if you can, is just it just seems like it's healthier that way because they're not
Oh,
just floating
yeah.
around in your car,
That's what they,
you slam on
I
your
mean,
brakes, all hell's
obviously.
breaking loose, you
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I agree with you on that for sure. So that would be the thing is that I would just like if I was you and or anybody who was going to do this and definitely is going to be on my hit list is getting these made for the holidays, but also have them for various different gift giving reasons throughout the year. And I honestly don't plan on making boards. That's not in my personal wheelhouse once I finally get my license thing. I call it
She
license
likes
thing.
doing all the gifty stuff.
I love the gifty stuff because
Yeah.
for me it's a lot more creative to me, but I can think about all the fun stuff I could do. But I'm probably going to do them all in this, assuming they sell. I'm, everything's kind of a test. You got to see how well they're going to do, and then see, what are you going to do to market them, which I'll talk about in a minute. But so our goal is to get them on your site first because you need to have them somewhere to go. Now, if you don't want to build a full-blown site, you can create just like a landing page for these things,
Mhm,
which is a
mhm.
single website type page. But if you already have a site, you should just have a page that's going to have gifts on them, right? And then obviously you could also have a gift certificate, which is a whole other side of this, but
Yeah.
and they just let them just go get what they want and come to your site. But I like the gift idea. This is a great idea, and it's all self-contained, and you could get so creative and come up with themes that you can sell all year long, and then take the same thing and doctor it up for the holiday, whatever's coming up, right?
And
Instead,
there's so many
yeah.
holidays all year round. There's just an enormous number of opportunities when it
Yeah.
comes to all of this.
Every reason under the sun you can do this. In fact, I was looking, I did some research. So corporate gift, let's see, what did I have? Charcuterie to go cups. That was another one. Mother's Days boxes you can get prepared for. Picnic date kit, which I thought was a really cute idea.
Well, that's right up there with the snackle box too. If you
Yeah.
wanted to call that the upscale lunchable.
Upscale Lunchable. There you go.
Mhm.
Cheese lovers sampler, game night grazing kit you could use, which I think is a
Yeah,
really good one. Obviously,
yeah.
New Year's is coming up, so you can come up with all kinds of things with that. And adding glitter dust to things, you could do that to make it a little shinier and more, more kind of fun. But so many ways to do this. Now, promoting, you obviously want to get your pictures if you can. So that there's going to be pictures sell. That's the great thing about this. Like I said in previous podcasts, my real estate world is so dry. Sure, showing a house, but when I'm trying to sell my downloadable items I sell to real estate agents, it's all digital emailing and stuff. That's
Right,
boring.
right.
I can't take pictures of that and get anybody excited about that, but sure can do it with charcuterie or anything related to your cottage industry, whatever your cottage food that you're selling. So get some pictures, and then the great thing is you can actually go into Canva, which please get a Canva account, pay for it too, because it's so stinking worth it. Because you can get more images and more videos and things and go. I mean, there's a lot you can do in there, and just go and run a search for charcuterie to start with, just to see all the images that are there, so you can kind of see. But you just go in and create like an Instagram reel that has video, and then you just throw in the video. It could be you if you want to upload your own video, but you can take a picture of this and then just put that in the video or in the static image. They already have the shapes already made for you, and they even have the templates made to promote. If you just type in food under the templates, they'll pull up all these things to help you sell your food. And all you're doing is replacing out your images inside these posts, right? And then you just start posting them out there and say, hey, look what I have available. Like Andrew said, on Thursday, I'm going to have these available.
Right,
This is what I'm
right.
offering, right? Or whatever you want to do. Get your order in by a certain date if you want to do it like that. Now, if you really want to get good, running local ads is not that expensive. And I mean, you got to be prepared though, because people are going to order, hopefully, and then you got to be prepared to be able to make them and set them aside. So if you've got a side job or a main job, or maybe this is your side gig, I don't know, but make sure that you've got time to deal with if you're going to run an ad. But I think running ads would be I'm kicking around the idea.
That's a whole nother podcast right there.
It is. And I'm
That's
not
for
prepared
sure.
to discuss that all day today because I'm in the process of running ads for us. And I told
Mhm.
Andrew this morning, I just hate getting into Meta and dealing with it because they change things up and then you don't really know what's going on. And, anyway, it's kind of a
Right.
pain. But someday I'll do a real simple training on how to run your own ads.
I
But
think that's a good one.
it's not for the faint of heart. I'm not going to lie. But if you're up for it, and for local ad running, it's easy. It really, it wouldn't be that hard. And I think you would actually do really well, but you could also run ads in, like your local next door. Is it next door, that next door app? Is that what it's
I
called?
don't know.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I just think if you can start doing some posts out there and you could if you have a Facebook page, that's great. If you have a Facebook group, which I highly recommend you do, get a group that is more local for yourself. You can start posting them in there. You can run the ads if you want to do that, but just post them out to your friends, everybody that you have, just on your personal page or Instagram. If you're one of those, if you do a lot of time on Instagram, great. I mean, obviously, just tell the world. Don't be a secret agent or a
Yeah.
secret cottage food person or whatever. Secret charcuterie agent. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. But and anywhere you go, you just tell people, I got these gifts, right? Or maybe you can even, does it make sense to walk into local stores or local small shops and say, hey, if would you be willing to resell my things, put them into some stores or something? Or maybe you bring in some pictures or a flyer and see if they'd be willing to put it up somewhere. Another
Yeah.
thing would be if you're in an area, because our mother's in independent living, oh my gosh, she could probably go in and see if they'd be willing to let you put a flyer up on a board in their independent living locations around, because they're probably all looking for gift giving ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Anything related to grandparents. Geez, there's just so much. I could go on for days. It's
Yeah,
just
you could go on forever. So
yeah.
that's the point, is that find your wheelhouse and get in it and stay in it and create your
Right.
products, and you'll be amazed at how quickly everything can move and just
Yeah.
everybody will be all over it.
I
People,
would
one
think
person
so.
is going to tell 20. I mean, that's just
Right. And if you are a member of other people's groups, just make sure that if you're able to do it, because some of the groups that you go into actually allow you to promote your stuff. Just make
mhm.
sure that they allow you to, but if not, you could reach out to the owner of the groups and see if it'd be okay for you to post, see if some of them will charge you to post, which would be fine too, if you're willing to pay a few bucks a month to post a couple times a month. So it depends on the kind of groups you're in. But especially in the foodie groups in your local area. And if there isn't any, you should create a foodie group in your local area. Now you own the group and you can post whatever the hell you want, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. People will join the foodie groups all day, every day. We've
yeah.
got a bunch of them here in our area, and we don't even live, with that many people. And I don't, hate to
Mm-hmm.
break it to you, but not all that many great restaurants. So we're always looking for the places and the businesses that are willing to put their neck out there and provide something really interesting and
Different.
different and unique, and everybody's looking for that unique thing right now. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
is just they're tired of the same old crap you can buy anywhere,
Right. And speaking of themes by that, if you can do a theme that's keto friendly or,
Gluten
gluten
friendly.
free,
Yeah.
yeah, gluten friendly, anything like that, I think is going to do really, really well. And you
hmm
could say it's all homegrown or something or whatever you got. Maybe you make your own salami. I don't know. How cool would that be if you did? I mean, it sounds
I
like a
don't know.
process, but
That's a little over the top there, but what do
um,
I know? Some people love that stuff. But I
yeah,
mean, the reality is the more original you can be without
yeah,
getting too nutty and making it cost. I mean, you want to make sure, I
it's
can't
cost effective,
say that enough. It
right?
needs to be cost effective.
Yeah. And it all boils down to how much did it cost you to make it, and make sure that you're making money on it enough that makes you happy. But I would be pushing it as much as possible as far as pricing,
hmm
see, because you just never know. You might think no one would pay $6 like that gal at the
At the one market I was
at the
talking
one
about,
market you were at, and
I
she was
was
like,
like, I don't,
yeah,
yeah,
just
I
but
mean, I didn't know what to like. Yeah, exactly. And that's my point, is don't be afraid to start at a higher price, because maybe that is going to make more sense. because if your product is worth it, if you go for a lower price, they may not think it's worth it because you went with such a low price. So there's a very fine line there. And you kind of have to test it out, and you'll get used to it and figure it
I
out.
kind of feel like too, it's going to be harder if you started low and try to crank it up, because if you sell a lot and they're flying off the shelves, then there's a good chance you could probably increase the price. I would say make the price high to get started, and then if it's not selling, drop it,
and then slash it, because then people are like, oh, it's a deal,
hello. Yeah, just like we all get sold when we go to the store. Well, good ideas. Great ideas. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. Follow my journey as I'm trying to get this. I'm waiting to get my approval. So once I get it, I'm going to start doing this. There are also rules, by the way, at least in Arizona, because we're able to do the charcuterie out of our house. Now, no matter what you're doing, actually, there are rules. So make sure that your marketing and advertising rules are being followed by your local area, because I was doing research on me marketing, and in our case, we have to say when we're marketing that it is a home-based food. So that's requirement on the ad and also the labeling needs to be on the ad. So whatever's included in your product, in our case, now, again, you have to know what's available in your neck and what's required in your neck of the woods. And where you're at, and I noticed, I was talking to Andrew this morning, that the requirements for me to be on the mobile cart is different than where she's at, because she's in a different county, and I don't think her county has the same. I have to go get a special mobile permit to take the cart out, where she doesn't, up where she's at. So we'll be doing more gigs in your neck of the woods. But anyway, so just food for thought there, cheese for thought there. But anyway, that's it for today. Hope y'all got some great ideas, and go out and start making some. So at the very minimum, just get a couple of products on your website. If you need a site, reach out. We've had some great websites getting built over here, and people are loving it. We just built one in 3 days. They're ready to rock and roll. So yeah, you know where to go for that. Just come on in. All the links to get any kind of help from us. We have a book out
down there, over
there, this way. Well, depending on where this is at. Also, we have a new mini course, which it's in the show notes. So if you're just getting started with all of this, no matter what you're selling, you might want to tap into the mini course that we have. I'm not going to say the price, because we might change the price. Kind of the same thing. I don't know. I don't want to say it is, but it's cheap. It's real cheap. It's less than $50. I can tell you that. So come on in if you need some help. We'll get you off the ground. So anyway, thanks, Sista. We'll see you soon. Oh, you're coming down. You're coming down this weekend for dinner. So
yes,
we'll see you soon. I'm actually going to pull out a turkey I've had in the freezer for a few months. We'll see.
Good time.
I better get that. Better get that sucker.
Hope it wasn't 2 years. 2 years Thanksgiving.
You don't want to know. No, it's not that one.
No.
I figured I have to pull it out before Thanksgiving rolls around. No.
I'm tired of turkey. Love it.
I know. I like making soup. All right. We're out of here.
Anyway.
See y'all. Bye.
Everybody.
See you next time. Bye-bye.